Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 5 of CS 410J Advanced Java Programming here at Portland State University. We've officially hit the halfway mark of the course. A little disclosure at the beginning. I'm not feeling my best right now. Kind of had a long day. I want to make sure that we can stay focused tonight. So there are a couple things that I want to cover. I want to make sure that you guys have a chance to ask me any questions that you've got. But while I want to dig into the Pac-Man kata, I think I'd also like to aim for getting out of here about 8 o'clock tonight. So let's stay focused. So maybe not as many breaks as in the past, but I'm hoping to get out of here a little bit early so I can get home and attend to some stuff I need to attend to. To start off class, we had 2 pieces of work. This week we had Project 3, so lots of good questions on the community. Also the cones that people have been working on since the first day. Want to start out with any questions about the stuff that was due tonight? Any thoughts, any reflections on either Project 3 or on the cones that you'd like to share? Yeah.
So if the user enters a 24-hour time, is it supposed to be error out, or is it supposed to be something else? But I just converted it to normal 12-hour time. I'm not sure if you're going to test that and that would be wrong.
Yep, good question. So, that's probably what the gist of your question on the community was. No, I will not test with 24-hour time. We will test with invalid 12-hour times. But if your program can handle both, awesome. Good for you. So what was that?
Will you do something other than the NPM?
Maybe. I don't remember. I wrote this stuff years ago. Yeah, be prepared. And you'll find out this weekend. Sorry. Anything else? How were the cones? Were they were they a worthwhile exercise? Did they help? Do you feel more confident about your command of the language? I'm seeing some nodding, some yes. Okay. Yeah.
I would say they do a good job of exposing you to things that maybe you'll remember in the back of your head, and then probably maybe need to research again. But at least you're exposed to the ideas. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, good. I think the cones aim for breadth over depth, right? So you see all sorts of things about the language and things about the primitives and things like that, which provide you little pieces, parts that I hope they can then synthesize into your programs. Anybody else? Feedback on the cones? Smith, did you have something? No.
I said this in the video. I like the idea of the cones, but maybe if there's a way to turn in like part of them each week that correspond to what you're going to be doing in the project, because I've like gotten certain things after I'd already done them, and it would have been easier to have done the cones.
Oh, thanks. That's good feedback. I'll think on that one to see if there's a way that, have the cones better line up with what sort of the topic of the week is. I agree that would better reinforce those concepts. Thanks.
Kind of on that note, I purposefully did all the cones right off the bat, even before Project 1, just to kind of, because I hadn't worked with Java for a while, so that was like a good refresher and get me thinking the syntax and stuff.
Maybe have them do earlier.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'm sure future students will thank you for that feedback. But no, I think that's a good point, right? Yeah, because it really is about the language, and even some of the things that, probably like are in the later, more advanced cones are things they might be using for your project. So, okay, yeah, thanks. I'll think on that one. Any other questions about the stuff that was due tonight? Project 4. Last week, we sort of went through the archetype, what it gave you. What are your thoughts on it this week? Any questions in terms of the client, the server, the REST stuff? Anything you want to talk about since we're all here?
Show people how to query in the browser. Might help a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Would you guys like to see? I might have run through it last week, but I mean, knowing me, it was probably really quick. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was in your video.
Okay. Well, is it the airline? Yeah, okay, so let's see here. We'll start Jetty. Okay, so sorry, I think I'm already 3 steps ahead of you. So I CD'd to the directory where I created the archetype. I'm using Maven to run Jetty, which is the web container, the thing that will serve up the web content, and I've configured Maven to deploy the web application, the WAR file, into that Jetty so that you can serve it up. And it's saying start a Jetty server. Swell. And so now I'll go to my browser and I'll say localhost airline flights. Is that right? Okay. Right. So you hit this URL, which I hope was in the homework, or I hope was in the PDF assignment, to display all of the key value pairs. Right, because I think a couple people asked about that on the forum. They were like, "Wait a second! You say that you need to provide this. Hey, give me pretty print all the flights in the airline, but there's something on the command line client to do that." And I'm like, "Exactamundo, Richie. It's happy days? No, too late. Happy days. Anyway." That's right. The command line doesn't do it. You can only do it through the browser or through a different client. And since your server just serves up HTTP, really any HTTP client, would be a web browser or command line to like curl or wget or whatever, can hit this URL and get it. Did I answer your question? So you guys understand it's like, hey, it's just a web server, and so you can hit it with a browser, you can hit it with your command line tool. As long as they're making HTTP calls, server doesn't care. Okay.
Maybe the question syntax we actually query it for a certain key.
Oh, yeah. So that's a good point. This is probably hidden from you a little bit if you use some of the Java code that I wrote.
I didn't dig into some of your classes.
Research, learning. My master plan is working. Right. So in terms of forming the URLs, like I talked about in the assignment, this of course is what you get from the archetype, which is a simple key value pair. But yes, so if you do things like put, what is it? Probably like for querying it, you put the name of the airline and then the source and destination airport. If you make a URL like this and hit it in the browser, you should see the same data returned as you would if you were running it from your command line program. Any other questions on Project 4 on the rest? Yeah?
There's no way to post from the browser, is there?
From just entering it, so the question is there a way to post from the browser? When you enter a URL in like the bar right here, that's a get. You can post by like a form, an HTML form, and there are various browser plugins that you can install that will let you specify basically like through the browser or through a graphical user interface in the browser. You can specify here's the URL and here's what methods I want to use and here's like what headers to specify and here's the body and stuff like that. But no, you can't post. When you hit a URL in the browser, that is a get. Okay, good question. Anything else? People started on Project 4? Just finish up Project 3? Okay, no, that's cool. I just do next week though, right? So, yeah, snicker. To that end, so if you're keeping up with the screencasts, I asked you to look at the GWT stuff for this week. However, in previous, when we got into week 5, in previous sessions, most people have just finished off Project 3, just thinking of Project 4. Would you like me to talk about GWT and the project tonight, or do you want to wait until next week, where it might be a little bit more immediate to you? I'm seeing a couple nods for next week. So maybe a show of hands. GWT this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. GWT next week. Okay. Is what we're using for Project 5. And I think the risk is, hey, I could show it to you this week, and it would probably be just as relevant as like Project 4 was to you last week. And I think there's enough new stuff in GWT. I think I'd rather have you at a point where you're starting to think about Project 5. So for those of you who would like to know more about it, I think there's enough information to get started. Well, there's definitely enough information to get started in the screencast and what's there in the assignment. But in terms of like the interactive discussion and me walking you through the archetype and everything like that, let's save that until next week. And I think more people will benefit from it next week. However, please feel free to ask questions about it on the forum and the usual means of communication. Sound good? Okay. Well then, then I think we're ready to dig into our programming kata for this week. What did you guys think of the kata last week, of that Roman numerals? Are you sort of? What do you think about the katas? Is this something that's resonating with you, Blake?
I thought last week's kata was more about trying to figure out a problem outside of programming.
Yeah.
I didn't learn so much programming
Mhm.
by doing that. I learned more about how to think about a problem. I don't think that this class is really about that. I think it's more about programming. But you're the instructor, so.
That's right. I am the instructor. No, you guys are paying my salary here. Well, that's a good point. I think with Roman numerals, it was that was my experience too. Whereas I had to figure out the algorithm. I had to sort of go through the table things, and I was sort of thinking about how I developed that code, and it was very much like, okay, I'm just going to start with stuff that I know that worked and let the algorithm emerge. Which I think is a completely reasonable way of doing it. I think some of you guys, though, sat down and thought about it and said, okay, well, here's what the algorithm needs to be. I'll go and implement it. And then as you added more test cases and did some more refactoring, I think everybody, or at least some people, sort of converged at a very similar solution, but just took very different ways. And I think that can be part of the exercise too, in terms of learning that there are, or realizing that there are different ways about approaching things. Cool. Any other feedback on the katas and the pair programming? No. Let's dive into another one then. So, who knows what Pac-Man is? Everybody? Okay, good. I'm sure at some point I'm going to be up here with my cane and all my gray hair and everything, and they're going, Pac-Man, 80s, quarters, George Washington. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. So, this is kind of a larger kata in that I think there's a lot more places that we can go with it. As a matter of fact, I think this kata is going to take us through the next 3 weeks, which are really the last 3 regular class meetings of the course. And so I was reflecting on our first 2 kata sessions. And one of the things that I saw a lot of people doing is when they started their program, they started with main, and started writing with main. And it's like, yep, that's how we're all taught to start, aren't we? Right? Oh, you start with main, and then you work down. And that's functional decomposition, and that can work really, really well. What I'd like to challenge you to do tonight is instead of starting with the main, which is how the user uses it, start with the classes that you want to build. So start with the concepts that you want to model, and write unit tests for them first. And then, maybe it'll be this week, maybe even next week, we'll get to what the main program needs to do. It's a different way of approaching it. That's something I'd like you to try. And then we can talk about and report back on what it is, what our experiences were. So, what I'd like to do now is let's break into pairs. And I'll be available to pair with anyone who wants to pair with me. And let's approach this Pac-Man kata. Get your keyboards and things like that. Let's work for about 15 minutes. And before we start writing code, I'd like each pair to read over the kata and think about what classes you're going to need, what data you're going to model. Sort of sketch it out first on a piece of paper or maybe in your head, or write down some notes in Notepad or anything like that. And then we'll get back together as a group. We'll talk about some of the design and things like that, and share some ideas that we have about how things will be modeled. And then we'll go back and start writing code, and we'll check in a couple of times and see how things go. Okay? Great. Okay, so let's get keyboards for people who want to share with keyboards. Break off in pairs. I encourage you to pair with people who you haven't paired with before. Let's 15 minutes. So at 6:30, we'll talk about our designs, our thoughts on the programs.
Mind if I pair with you this time?
Not at all. Okay, so let's take a moment and read over the kata. So I'll pause the recording while we're doing that. That's lame. Yeah, someone's gonna bring up text it. Let's say, oh, don't take a look at everybody's grades. And there we go. Okay, yeah, it's like a Pac-Man class. Oops.
Yeah.
So what? Oops.
Yeah, I've done that
Getting used to
many
keyboard,
times on
yeah.
Mac.
What classes do we need? Yeah, so like a Pac-Man class. Yeah, what does this guy do?
That's for the actual Pac-Man himself, like his health, his direction, his speed.
Yeah. Pac-Man's a he, I guess. There's Ms. Pac-Man.
Yeah.
His health and direction. I say and position, too.
Yeah, and speed. Or state, because when he gets those special things, he gets to...
Oh, yeah. Speed, position, which is probably some like XY coordinate or something. Oops. Yeah, X, Y coordinate. State. Actually, okay, so let's. And these are probably going to be like, oops. Pac-Man, his health, position, state. So like state is
Whether you
like
just got one of
invincible.
those...
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Is Pac-Man? I'm sure there's like some sort of copyright or something that we're infringing. Pac-Man invincible.
I think it's old enough. We don't have to worry.
Oh no, I'm sure it's like is Pac-Man Atari? Who was that? No, it was like Bally or whatever. Anyway, yeah. Invincible and direction and like it'll be how about compass point? Like north, south, east, west?
That works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
North, south, east, west. Okay.
And then we need a level class that actually...
Yeah, a level. Yeah. Level. So.
That's maybe a little bit bigger of a class, but you can break it down even more into like walls and...
Yeah, I like walls. I mean, so like level is essentially a grid which Pac-Man can move.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has walls and like this requirement right here about
Enemy start position is one of them, I think.
right. Yeah. Ghosts. Yeah. Their start position. I like that. Yeah, initially their start position. Oops. Initially their start. Nope. End does not work on this keyboard. Okay.
It's not?
Not apparently.
It's homework?
Home.
Maybe not in this text editor.
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see. Where's I can't remember. Home. Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe it's text editor. You're right. Yeah, good call. Their start position.
And then where all the level ups are, the invincibility thing are.
Right. Yeah. Location of power pellets. I don't know
That's a good way to
what
put it.
or what like recess of my mind I'm pulling that one out of. For all those Pac-Man cartoons I watched as a kid. And then also location just of regular dots. Right.
Yeah.
It's like which ones have been eaten.
That you can pretty much just write them that fills them everywhere there's not a power pellet.
Oh yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I like that. Initially, everybody's not everywhere. There's not a wall or a. I guess everywhere's not a wall.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oops. Everywhere there's not a wall. Come on. There we go. There's not a wall. There is a dot. A wall or a power pellet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Or a power pellets. Oops. There's a dot. What else?
I have like a level generator class that generates them based on the level. So I don't think they code every single level by hand. I think they have a generator that generates it.
Maybe. That'd be kind of tough though, because right, you have to have like walls that are contiguous and things like that. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't know. I haven't played that much Pac-Man recently.
I know
but there might have only been a couple of templates and really what varies from levels, like the speed of the ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I know you hit level like 255 and it overflows.
255. I never got past 5.
I just heard about it. It
Yeah.
overflows at 255 and some variable overflows and it crashes.
Yeah, well, that's 8-bit computing for you.
They never
Yeah.
expected anybody to get that high, and somebody did.
Okay, so like there's Pac-Man, and we might also want to have ghosts. And
Oh, yeah.
right? As sort of
Forgot
like a
about that one.
class, yeah. And I guess the interesting thing about ghosts is that they control themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, their own moves, and then
Is
if
this going to be a multi-threaded app, or is this going to...
well, I don't know yet, and I think I just want to start
'Cause I know-
simple.
Because I know usually they call it updater method, and the updater method
Right.
checks everything
Yeah.
and updates the new position of everything. They don't do it multi-threaded
Yeah,
in a lot of
that-
games.
Oh, right. That's a good point. Yeah, we could. Well, yeah, basically have a
They just have
poll.
an update
and,
position and
yeah.
the direction of the enemy at the last time, and it just moves
Yeah.
it one.
Well, here's something to think about.
Yeah.
But well, shoot, I was writing something, and then
control their
if the ghost is on the same location at the same location as Pac-Man,
So a collision, basically,
yeah, I mean Pac-Man dies.
if he's not invincible.
Yeah, Pac-Man and Pac-Man is not invincible, and Pac-Man is not invincible. Pac-Man dies. Actually, oops. Let's nest some logic here. Pac-Man is not invincible, Pac-Man dies. Otherwise, oops. If Pac-Man is invincible, Ghost dies. Oh, there's also like a score and things like that we can keep track of.
That's
Is that part of the level? What do you think that should be part of? Maybe it should be part of Pac-Man?
that's like more of a main class kind of thing, isn't it? Or
What?
should it be its own class?
The score?
Yeah.
Like how many points?
Score, number of health, number of lives, what level you're on. It's a couple different things.
Yeah,
to
so
keep
that's
track
like the
of.
game, I guess.
Game state, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah. So there's level, and then there's like the game, which is
State of it.
Yeah, the state of the game. That's a lame description. But this like has a Pac-Man ghosts. Well, it's like Pac-Man ghosts are kind of part of the level.
Yeah.
You don't get a new Pac-Man. Well, Pac-Man's all about like his position. Yeah. Okay. So it's really just has levels. Has levels. Has number of lives, and then has score, right?
Yeah.
Total score.
We also said Pac-Man has health, so you want to keep track of it with the Pac-Man, or do
Well,
you
that's the same thing as state. Is there's health we identified, and there's state. Is that the same
I was
thing?
saying his lives, number of
Number of
lives.
lives.
That's his health,
We
basically, because
could, yeah.
he's not partial health or anything. He's either alive or dead.
Right. Well, yeah, right. So is that the same thing as number of lives?
So does
Yeah,
the
is
game just query hit Pac-Man and ask him what he has, or does the level keep track of it?
Well, I mean,
Or the
if like
game keep track of
Pac-Man's
it?
all about really Pac-Man like on a particular level,
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah, we want to keep track of it in the game, so because
Yeah.
Pac-Man could get reset every level.
right. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe we don't need to make this decision now. Yeah, so we know about it. So maybe it makes most sense to have it on Pac-Man. Maybe it makes most sense to have it on game.
We'll see when we
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
start.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the code looks like. Okay. What else?
We have a save state, load state. You really want to go in.
I
I
mean,
know the
like,
actual Pac-Man doesn't have that.
right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe it was brainstorm here. Yeah. The ability to save the.
Oh yeah, you also have the pause,
Right. Yeah.
pause menu, that kind of stuff.
State of
To start the game.
Yeah. Oops. The ability to pause. Okay, and now we're almost to 6:30. Come on, I gotta learn how to type on this keyboard. State of the game. Yeah, save and then like reload. Like that. Okay, it's something that does make sense to have like some of this outer level stuff be part of the game? Oh, I guess like level. So I was thinking that the description of a level could be like loaded from like a configuration file or something. You know, eventually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Load a description of a level from a file. So you can imagine how the level itself is like drawn. You know, you draw it in a file and then load it in and then play it from there.
Or some representation.
Yeah.
Whatever makes sense.
So let's see here. Control S to save. No. Alt S to save. Nope. That's a
I think
beta.
it's Windows key.
It's the one.
And
Yeah.
S,
Yeah. You're right. Okay. So Pac-Man notes. Okay. Anything else?
I'm sure we'll find stuff
Okay.
along the way.
Well, that's good. Let's go. We'll talk about it with everybody else. Is it okay sitting here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Answering the question, my own idea about would the wall be part of the same? Is fundamentally the element that we want to keep track of is structure space on the map, and if so, that would want those spaces
Oops.
to be a
That's not
wall.
what I meant.
Because otherwise, if it's a structure, how would you?
Okay. Oh, you know what? I want to start a
They would have to be direct.
Hangouts.
Yeah. So then you need to have an attribute that is. Can you?
So I gotta invite some people. Yeah.
Like, is it a wall?
CS410J summer 2014. And then link to share. Oh, that'll do it. Ah, it's me. No one needs to look at me.
But how do you know? Like, how do you know when this?
Okay, it's been 15 minutes. It's 6:30. Let's do a quick check-in. See where we're at. I hear lots of good discussion going on. I still hear lots of good discussion going on. I'd like you to pause it for a second. Anyway, and let's see where we're at. So Sean and I are paired on this first, but are on this. But I want to hear what some of your ideas on this first. I did open up a Google Plus community. A Google Plus Hangout. If you want to join that to share your desktop or anything. Otherwise, we can just have a conversation. So, what thoughts do people have in terms of the things they need to model with for this Pac-Man kata? Yeah. Okay.
All right. And so, just so we were trying to think in terms of what classes would we need, what would we need collections or stuff like that, how to make it. And so what we came up with, there would be a single Pac-Man object in the game for ghost objects, which would both of them would be children of the parent class, which is I don't think we came up with a name for that, but because both of them move through the maze the same way. It's just that one's controlled by a player in each stops, and the others just move on their own. It might make things a little easier if they both are children of the parent class. Then for the board itself, we came up with the idea of a two-dimensional array, where each element of the array is either an open square or a closed square. Again, both of those are children of the same abstract class, so they can both be in the array. And each open square, has Boolean determining whether there's a dot currently there or not. And there would also, I think, would there also be a counter for how many total dots there were left? And essentially each of them would have a reference. Would have a reference to a Pac-Man class and an array of 4 references to a ghost class. So that's how we would tell where Pac-Man is and the ghosts are in the maze, because if Pac-Man's in a square, then it points to the sole Pac-Man object. If Pac-Man's not, it just points to null.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so then each square is able to determine, is there a Pac-Man and a ghost here? Okay, what state are they both in, and what happens?
Nice. Sounds good. Questions, comments, feedback? Array of 4? You might want to use a list for it. But yeah, although maybe not. It's going to be always size 4, I guess, so probably not a big deal.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I just remember one of the reasons we did we wanted to do an array is that each ghost could have its own designated number, 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, or 3. So if we choose to give the ghosts unique AI, like in the actual game of Pac-Man, we'd be able to keep track of which ghost is which if they're both in the same square.
Cool. Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Does anybody remember the names of the 4 ghosts? Inky, Pinky, Blinky, Clyde, and Sue, or Miss Pac-Man. Anyway, Wikipedia. Okay, cool, awesome. Who else? What other ideas do you guys have? Oh, speak up. Yeah.
It's pretty much the whole design is the same as theirs. The one thing that we thought of was you have your ghost and Pac-Man are derived from the same object, and that base object would have an invincible flag because the ghost is always invincible unless Pac-Man has eaten the power up, and then the invincible flag gets swapped for Pac-Man and the ghosts. So
Cool.
just a way for kind of keeping track of that.
Yeah. What questions are you guys left with after 15 minutes? What things are you wrestling with? What sort of like, okay, what do you want to know? How are you guys going to start coding? So, we open up to coding. What's the first thing after you create the project and everything? What's the first test you're going to write?
Is this solution already posted on GitHub?
Ah,
Who cares?
probably is by some dude in the Netherlands, right? Willem van de Eden. Anyway, anybody else? So yeah, where do you guys want to start? What seems like the most natural place to start? Game board?
Yeah. Creating a character.
Character? Yeah. Start menu. Yeah, okay. I always feel like I'm on a game show. Let's see, start menu. Anyway, okay. Well, you want to share what we're
Sure.
doing? Okay. So, tiny. No, Helvetica. 18 point. Sorry. 18 point. That looks a little better. So, Sean, what were some of the things that we came up with?
We basically broke it up into classes, and we figured out for the Pac-Man, we want to keep his position, state, and the direction he's going. And then we want to have a ghost class, and a level class, and a game class. And for example, like the level class, we have the walls, the ghosts, where they start, location of where the power pellets are, and where the regular dots are. And then we kind of thought a little bit more about it, and when we generate it, we put dots everywhere there's not a power pellet or a wall, and then we thought we could load it from a file. And then for the game, we thought it would have a level. It would keep track of the number of lives, the total score, and we have the ability to save and load the current state of the game, so you can save and load and then do pause.
We got really brainstorming, didn't we? We're going all sorts of places. So, where do you want to start?
Pac-Man? Character himself?
Right, Pac-Man? Like, what would the first test look like?
Get health, save. No. Oh, wait a minute.
I don't know.
Get direction? I don't know.
Get direction, see which direction. Yeah. Say, hey, change direction.
Change direction, see if we can get it.
I don't know. Like, for me, like, where I'm going is, like, I want to draw a level, like the simplest, like what would the simplest level possible be?
One square.
That's something's possible.
Actually, I mean, is that even a valid level? I don't know, right? I mean, it's like, for me, it's like, Pac-Man trapped in a box, right? That's actually like degenerate. That's like the most simple thing. So, like, I've got Pac-Man trapped in a box, and so I would ask him, hey, I guess maybe what's your position, and then can you move left? No. Can you move right? No. Right, and maybe that's like where I would start.
Is the level done?
Yeah, is the level? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like you win.
Yeah.
Then we can have like the little, the little screen in between where you have like Pac-Man being chased by the ghost and he comes back and he's all big. Anyway. I don't remember anything else about Pac-Man. Next week we'll do Donkey Kong. Anyway, okay, awesome. I want to write some code. You want to write some code? Okay. I'll post. Well, actually, do I need to post like the big command line for generating the archetype, or do you guys have that? Oh wait, like that.
Well, in IntelliJ, there's the new project. You can select a Maven. Is that the same thing? Is that what you're giving
Well, does it give you the same thing?
I don't know if it gives you JUnit.
It doesn't give you the dependencies. It might give you JUnit. I don't know if it gives JUnit out of the box. Probably not, though. Yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing about the archetype is that it gives you like the JUnit Hamcrest dependencies. But yeah, do something that works for you. So I think what works for me, not surprisingly, is the Maven archetype. But yeah, at this point, you guys know about Maven archetypes. I think you've learned everything you need to learn. And so then, yeah, if there's a way that works better for you, go for it. Okay. Give it a try. Bold experimentations in computer science here at Portland State University. Quick start, yeah. Okay. Everybody all ready? So let's code for 20 minutes or so, and we'll check in and see where we're going. And remember, it's like let's try start with these classes, write some unit tests, and see what we get. Okay. Let's go back over. I'll stop this recording. No, let's pause it. No, I'll stop. Oops. Okay, yeah, so you think about the simplest place to start. Let me get the project set up.
Okay.
You think about that, and then I'll turn it over to you to start writing some code. Oops. Let's see here. So I'll...
You have it memorized?
No, I don't. Yeah, I always need to go back to the student... student assignment.
I'm on Windows, so I have to copy and paste line at a time. I can't copy and paste the slashes.
Oh, serious? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Just a little thing. Copy. Did I do that right? Nope.
Command.
Copy.
Yeah.
And then paste. Yay. Watch it fail. Yep. So your Control A. Okay. And then. Nope. Alt. Okay. So fix the tilde. And then. Oh wait, that's the GWT artifact. I copied it wrong.
Is that the GWT? No.
No, it shouldn't be.
You had it already in your.
Yeah, I probably did.
In your
That
buffer.
was. Oops. There we go. Okay, Control. Yeah. Paste. Okay, that looks all wrong. Good. Stop. Oh, babies. Keep thinking about it. Oofed. What doesn't it like? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh boy. Should probably really figure out this control thing since I spent a lot of time working about this. Okay, and so instead of student archetype, we'll do Pac-Man kata. Oops, didn't like.
Choose or number, apply it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess the filter didn't take. So yeah, one of the things you can do with the Maven filters. I thought I had. Oh, that's so weird.
Artifact ID because it didn't identify it in your.
Oh yeah, okay, that's
You don't
totally
have a
wrong.
Pac-Man kata.
Yep, okay. Yep. I did something else.
But when he actually comes up and asks you, then you can enter it.
Right. Group ID, edu, pdx, ES410J. I'll have it, Sean and Dave. Make it sound like we're working on some sort of like we're Dave and Buster's or artifact ID.
This is where you can give it something.
Yeah. So Pac-Man kata. Version, sure, package. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so let's add to get Pac-Man kata. Get commit M added project for Pac-Man kata. Okay, what do you do? Let's go over to IntelliJ. Oops. It's hard to use this keyboard. IntelliJ. We'll open up import project to our old friend here. This is kind of time consuming, isn't it? There it was. Get CS410J. Refresh. Oh, get summer 14. Pac-Man kata. Maven, all sorts of good stuff. Defaults that we like. Sure. Use Java 8.
It's like grader profile I see come up when I import.
Oh, okay. So there's something called a Maven profile, which is if you use the dash capital P. Here, I'll get this. If you use dash capital P, it says, "Hey, run Maven with this profile." And what a profile allows you to do is configure Maven plugins differently. So if you look at like the projects, there is a profile for Grader, and what it does is it configures the JavaDoc plugin to generate that text JavaDoc that you see on your assignments.
Yeah.
Right, and so if you look at the command line for like the last test case, it's like run Maven-P Grader, and then JavaDoc, and then it uses a doclet which generates that text as opposed to the doclet that generates the pretty HTML that we're used to. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, your turn. Let me give you some slack here on the cord. Oops, what was that all about? Oh, can you move it out of that? Yeah. Okay.
So we want to rip out the student class right away?
Yeah, let's just get rid of that. Or rename it or something.
So what do we want to name this? What do we want to start with?
I think I want to start with level.
Okay.
But yeah, rename the test class too. I don't think it went through quite yet. It's probably complaining about a whole bunch of stuff. I think it's a bunch of comments and stuff that we won't. Yeah, that looks like it's all in comments.
So did it fail or?
Nope, it hasn't done it yet. It's
it's saying it won't do it quite perfectly.
Right, and so just click do refactor, and it'll go ahead and change a bunch of stuff that will probably end up deleting anyway. Oh, that would rename that. Okay.
Huh. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna rip out all this code, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna rip out the test too.
Yeah, then because those tests are like for invoking the main. I haven't even thought about the main yet. So.
I guess we're going to start with level.
Well, let's start with the test first.
Okay.
So like, right, I mean, that first test that I was talking about was like
assert equals or.
Well, let's name the test case first. So, oops. Yeah.
Is it private or public?
Public.
It's public. Yeah.
I know.
I'm used to a laptop keyboard.
Yeah, I know.
Public
It was someone
void. What are we going to name that class?
Well, let's see here. Well, yeah, it's like my first test case was like Pac-Man in the box. Was there
generate a simple level, basically?
Well, yeah, right. It's like totally like degenerate level, which would be no ghosts, just Pac-Man surrounded by walls. Is there sort of like a more degenerate level than that?
No, I was just saying we generate a simple level and see that Pac-Man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, can't move. Well, can't move, right? I mean, he's in a box.
And there's no dots, so he advance.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. So he can't move, and that the level's complete.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say maybe we should have different test cases for even though like the setup is the same. You know, have like different test cases. So like one is like what? You know, Pac-Man can't move in a box.
Okay.
Yeah, name it that. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Can't or cannot. Yeah, move. I do that too, where it's like I want to make a contraction. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now we got to create a level.
Assert that or assert equals. Or...
Well, I think we need to create the level first.
Okay.
So like,
they want to go here.
No. Well, let's write the code here, and then when it doesn't
Create a
compile,
level.
we can.
Okay, generate that.
Yeah.
Instantiate the class, you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
And yeah. Oops. Import. Oh yeah. No. Totally. Yeah.
Do I pass it arguments or?
Well, yeah, right. It's like how we want to represent it. I mean, we could just do a little bit of ASCII art.
In the.
Yeah, right in the test, right? I mean, that would make it really easy to read,
Okay.
or at least as easy to read as we could.
Yeah.
And maybe we could, so we could either pass in. What if we had like a method that was like add? So like it's like we need like a builder. You know what the builder pattern is? It's like an object that builds another object.
Yeah.
And so then, let's try. Let's see here. Yeah. So if we had like a level builder where you could like just specify each row.
Okay.
And sort of, it's like add row, add row, add row, and you call them right. You could like make 3 calls in a row to make like a 3x3, and then like as we got. So yeah, maybe what we need for the level is the level builder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do we want to do here?
So well, I mean, it's like let's in addition to the. So I don't think we're going to instantiate the level directly. We'll let the builder instantiate the thing. So let's make a level builder instead. So yeah, so instead of saying just level, we'll have like level builder.
Builder like that?
Yep. Yeah, it's called builder or something like that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's create that class.
That's refactor.
No, probably not refactor. It's like alt enter or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like it's autocomplete. There you go. Create class. Yeah, that's good. Yes, put it there in that. Okay, now let's go back to our test. We'll add methods to the test. So like, and let's call like a method like
add line.
Yeah. And this dude takes a string, and so.
Do you want to give it the string right away?
Yeah, let's just do like plus.
Oops.
Oh, actually, it's kind of the funny thing is it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, as long as it's not a dot or it's not a space, we can just assume it's a wall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so like that, yeah, that's cool. I think in my mind I'd have pluses on the end, but it makes no difference.
Oh yeah, that works.
King of ASCII art. Whoa. Oh, cool. What did you just do there?
Somehow I hit enter and I think it automatically.
Oh, smart.
Continued it.
Good old IntelliJ. I'm surprised that you've noticed you might be using a new keyboard.
Oh yeah, and it tells me to hit the keys.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah. Let's create that method. Yeah.
Do we need a variable to keep track of the?
We will, but let's write our test first and then fill in the rest later. Because I don't know exactly what it needs to do. Well, I guess I would do. Can you go back to level builder? Yeah, it returns void, but let's name that variable something better, like line or something. I'll show you a trick. Alt D or Command D will duplicate the line that you're on. Yeah, that was helping me a lot. So yeah, you don't need to have it selected or anything. It's just like whatever the cursor's on. So yeah, we'll put Pac-Man right there.
Let's see, which line do I want to use?
Oh yeah. I think we need to tell the level builder where Pac-Man is initially, right?
Yeah, this one X.
Do we want to have Pac-Man have an initial direction?
Oh. That's a good point.
I mean, we could just use like the greater than less than V and caret for like the Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And we can like assert that Pac-Man's initial direction is west or something. Oh wait, we're actually east. That's Pac-Man chomping east. Yeah, it's not where he's pointing. Yeah.
Right, so it's Y equals Y. So that's
Nice. Okay.
So
So
what-
actually, you know what? Let's so maybe this first case should be that, Pac-Man initially faces west.
okay.
So yeah, let's rename that dude. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Left. Yeah. Yes, that's probably better.
That's
Okay.
right, isn't it? He faces right.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I keep thinking it's an arrow, but it's not. It's where it's jumping. Nice. Okay. So that's a level builder. Now let's create a level from that. So maybe.
And use this to as argument we pass into it.
No,
Level builder.
I think the builder pattern is like you create the builder and then you configure the builder and you say create. So like there's there would be like lb.create method
That'll
would
return a level.
Yeah, that will return a level. Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. We need to create that dude. I'm just curious, where did you you're using like A level and A line and stuff like that. That's a very small talk thing to do. Have you done any small talk?
No.
No, okay, that's curious. Cool. Okay. Sure, having return null or having a throw on support operation, exception will be fine. Okay, let's go to the test. And now let's assert that, well, I guess what we need to like say Pac-Man piece is right, we'll get like what? Get the Pac-Man object from the level and then assert that his direction
create a
is
Pac-Man
right.
object too.
Yeah. So let's get it from the level.
So what do we want to do? Assert? Or do we want to get the Pac-Man object
I
first?
think we're going to do the Pac-Man object first.
yeah, no, I think it's nice.
Yeah. Let's create that Pac-Man class first. You try generating. I'm just curious what happens. It's usually like generating.
No.
Nah, it doesn't really. Nah,
Yeah, I keep forgetting
I
that.
know the.
Getter?
Just create method because I don't think it's. Yeah, let's do that.
I picked up that it was Pac-Man. That was smart of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I
then we
think
want
we're
to test the
ready to
direction.
assert something finally. Yeah.
So assert equals or assert that.
I think assert that.
I actually use this library very much, so assert that.
Let's get. It doesn't know that's a method yet. Let's just.
Okay.
Yeah. And then let's static import and the orgam pressed. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's like part of JUnit, but it's not part of JUnit. I don't know.
Okay, so Pac-Man, direction.
Yeah, I probably want get direction. Right? That's probably a method.
Do we want to create an
And you,
email for?
and you want that? Yeah, I think we do. So like, yeah. And then equal to. And then like direction dot. Probably capital D. Sorry, so that's the enum type, right? Yeah, like direction dot. No, don't use any of those.
Built-in.
I know, yeah. It's like, oh, here's some crazy classes on your class path. Yeah. And so like right, direction dot right, and hit escape. No, let me create my own one. Okay, yeah, let's create that dude first. And no, hit escape. I think it'll give you. Try it again. There you
Okay,
go.
there we go.
Create class. Create a new. Sorry. Yeah, and yeah, sure, top level. That'll be fine. Okay, so now let's go back. Let's create right. Yeah, nice. And yeah, let's import that dude.
And we're gonna create the
Yep.
spitter.
Oh, really? It wasn't smart to figure out this was supposed to be a direction.
Okay, so how do we do that? Enum or do we?
No, just type direction.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like any. It's like a class. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, no, let's just do that.
Nice. Okay, let's go back to our tests. Let's run this dude and see how spectacularly it fails.
When I like to fail, I like to just spray.
That's
the
right. If you're gonna
screen with output,
fail,
just
yeah, fail big, like
you know,
stack
just-
traces of code that you've like, hey,
on
null
and
pointer
on and on.
exception. Okay. Okay. How about you pass it over to me now?
All right.
And we'll start implementing this dude. Okay. So, yeah, well, see how far we can get in there. 15 minutes, then break it out. So let's see here. So like the first thing we need to do, yeah, here is like fix the. Oops. This is probably the create, right? 27. Oh, that's where it gets null pointer exception. Oh yeah, right, because a level is null.
And then we call Pac-Man.get direction.
Right.
There's
Yeah. So like, okay, so here we are in create. So here I think we need to keep track of lines.
No, so a
Oops.
string array.
What the heck did I just do? Oh, that's interesting. Control. Huh, okay.
What
sorry.
did that?
That moved back to where you were before. Oh no, it
Oh.
moves through the tabs that
okay.
are open there. That's pretty cool. Huh, I've never seen that before. So this keyboard is magic, apparently. Okay, so add line. No, how about this thing? Okay, we'll just say lines.add line, and so then let's do
So we're gonna have collections for the.
yeah, create local variable field lines, and this is going to be abstract. Yeah, how about just like fine, we'll fix that. So let's have it be a list of strings. Well, actually, you know, how do we want to represent, you know, the actual elements of the level? So I want to say we want a two-dimensional array because
Yeah.
it might be the easiest to
access. Yeah.
Mhm.
If
So
we do that, then we have too wrapped up in calls to try and figure out where we are. And
exactly,
what we're
it's
doing.
like, oh, I'll look for this list. Okay, so I think ultimately we want so not lines. So okay, I don't think I like this
Not the
code
add,
anymore. Yeah. Oops. How do I get back to the front of it? Bother.
Does the home and
Okay.
end work in this?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it does. Oh, thank you. Cool. So I think ultimately what I double builder. Oh, really? There we go. I think what I want is just a two-dimensional character array, which is a grid. And we won't know. So here,
The first line will dictate how big it
exactly.
is.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair.
But do we have to initialize the? Oh, it'll be square. It'll always be square, right? Or is it always square?
I don't think it's always square. Oh no, you're right. So you're right. You know what? I think for the builder, we'll need to keep like the list of lists, and then when we create the level, that's where we'll create the grid. We'll do some
Okay.
validation to make
Yeah.
sure that it like is rectangular. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we were right. Yeah, okay, a while ago. Let's see here. Control Z. No. Alt C. No.
Those are weird characters.
It's Omega is okay. So that's cool. Okay. Okay. So this keyboard driving me crazy. Should practice at home or something. Okay, so this will be a list of lists. So a list, yeah, of a list of strings, yeah. No, wait, no, it's just a list of strings.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, totally.
Getting in the character mindset.
I know, yeah. I still wanted to be there. Patience, Dennis line. Okay. So there's our lines. Okay, level equals create. Okay, so now what we need to say, we need to create that. Well, we can add the validation later. So let's just say car array grid equals new car, and this is what the number of lines, right? So lines.size.
Yeah. And then how do you get the width?
So like lines.get 1 to 0 dot size.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that'll do
Yes, yeah.
it. It's assuming they're all the same size, but we can worry about that later.
Oh, lane. It is, right, yeah. And then we need to go through each line and populate the grid. Oh, yeah, okay, that's... Dimensional arrays. Okay, so then for string line in lines, do... Oh, actually I can't because we gotta know the index.
You gotta do one character at a time, and then
Yeah, that's feels kind of weak, but you know what? It'll work for now. Int I equals 0 while I is less than lines.size I plus plus. Do you see something? And then did I initialize that? Okay, and then for int j equals 0, that's really oops. And then it's like string line equals lines. Oops. Really? Lines dot get I. So for j, this is line dot size. Nope. There you go. Size length. Length I plus plus 8. And then grid I j equals line r at j. It's probably a better way to do that. It doesn't work right now. Okay, so now we've got this. And now we'll just like return a new level given the grid. Oops. How's that sound?
yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Now I need to fix that part.
Oops. Oh, I'm doing it again. Nope. Control. Well.
Create an omega character. That's an actual command.
That's oh, here's what it is. Like on the keyboard, command and option are switched. I wonder if there's a way like to configure the Mac to like make this, because I'm used to like command being alt.
Yeah.
Alt Z. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. Did it again. I did it again. Okay. There you go. Create constructor. So let's see here. I think we're going to need this grid. So this dot grid grid this grid.
Use the restroom real quick.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay, let's see here. We need to go back to the test and make some notes that we need to validate. Validate that the grid is a rectangle.
Suppose we can start.
Okay, and now I need to create Pac-Man. This Pac-Man equals find Pac-Man on grid. What is it? What is it complaining about with grid? That's probably never used. Yeah. Then find Pac-Man on grid. So we'll create a method there, and we'll just go through and I want to say for int I equals 0, I is less than grid dot length I plus plus. So initialize the grid, and now I'm going to basically create the Pac-Man. So we got to find him on the grid. So I'm just going to like go through the grid until
You find the X or whatever.
yeah.
Or find the carrot or whatever.
Right.
It's 4 different cases.
For int j, j equals 0, while j is less than grid I dot length j plus plus. Oh, you know what? I always screw up. I'm gonna double check.
Which is which?
Well, yeah, you know what I always do? I always end up putting I plus plus there. I wonder if I did in Level Builder. I did! Oh my gosh. And that
Those are
is
always
so
fun.
hard to debug.
No, you debug it. You're stepping through one
Yeah,
at
it's
a
like,
time.
what
You're
did I
like, wait a
do
minute, and then it
again?
hits the outer loop. And you're like, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Aha. Okay, cool. And so then car C equals grid I, J. And so then, oops, if is Pac-Man C, then
Return direction.
well, I think we want to return the new Pac-Man. New Pac-Man, and I think we want to have the coordinates, so Pac-Man knows his coordinates, and then get Pac-Man direction. Direction from C.
But do we want to create a new Pac-Man every time we find him on the grid, or?
Well, we're only going to find him once, right? Because
Okay.
return there.
Okay.
Right, and it's a good point. You know, if there are two Pac-Man, dueling Pac-Man,
We do
two-player
two-player mode, yeah.
right, yeah. We can write a test for that. And actually, I mean, it's like, oops, I'll add another note for a test. Validate a rectangle and validate that there is only one Pac-Man on the level. Good. So maybe that'll be like level builder tests or something like that. But we're getting there. Okay, get Pac-Man direction. Create a method. Oh, and then direction, and it's our direction. Character C, sure. And then we'll switch on. Oops. Switch on C. Case. What? This. Return.
Do north, south, or right, or?
Well, I think we already started with right.
Right, okay.
So that's right. Let's just leave it here in the spirit of test-driven development.
You don't want to do all the rest of them?
No, I don't. But we'll put it in default just to get it to compile.
It won't compile without a default.
Right, because we have to return a direction, and so the compiler says, "Oh, look, there's a control flow through the method that doesn't return a value or throw an exception." So throw new illegal state exception. Unknown can't determine direction of C. This is the best name for a variable, I'm not sure. Okay, does it compile now? Yeah. Is Pac-Man. So I think we can. Oh, interesting.
It's kind of another case statement. That's kind of duplication.
Yeah, but you're right. Here's what I should probably do. I should say return get Pac-Man direction for C. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
like
and
not equals null, right? But now this guy should return null.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can fix this up. Oops. And so return null. We'll fix it up later. What does it like? Okay, it doesn't like constructor. Create constructor. Int ij. Yeah, good enough. Direction. And let's see here. This dot direction. Equals direction. And create field direction. Final is not final. We'll fix that later. And then down in get direction, return this dot direction.
Well, it's not done your test pass, or
I don't know. Level is something's not compiling. Is it compiling now? Nope. It's thinking about it. Oh, and here it's not. It's complaining because there's not a return statement. Yeah.
return.
And then yeah, we'll just throw an exception. Illegal state exception.
You like
No
to do that
Pac-Man
rather than just
break.
returning a null or returning something that's garbage? Or...
Well, because if you return a null, what you're eventually going to get a null pointer exception.
Oh, okay.
And I think here in Pac-Man direction, ultimately we do want to have, like here we return a null, which works well for is Pac-Man, but like for this call, we probably want to throw an exception if it's not pointing any direction or something.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see. Although actually, that might be okay actually, because like this guy will always return false. This guy will never get called in the situation
Yeah.
where there's not a
Okay.
Pac-Man. So I guess it's okay. Okay. Oh. Let's try this.
Think it'll pass?
I don't know. Probably not. It never does in the first try. Nope. Null pointer exception. Add line. Oh yeah. Forgot to create a new array list. Oops. Come on, think about it. Array list. No, null pointer exception again. It's Pac-Man. Oh yeah.
Get Pac-Man.
I bet this guy
It's
isn't.
null still.
Oops. What? Yep. Yeah, this is ugly. Yay! It passes.
First
Okay.
test.
Let's.
Lot of
we
code.
got. Yeah. Well, yeah, but only as much code as we needed, right?
Yeah.
Which probably maybe we could have like written a smaller test or something like that. Let's check it into GitHub. Cool. Come back to me. There it is. Oh, it didn't. Oh, we probably changed. What did we change it here? Alt D. Yeah, sure did. Right. Oh, we renamed the main, and it references the main in there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's just who cares? Okay. Good to know. Okay, and we deleted those. Okay, so hey, oh, wait, not about primitives. Cancel. Yeah, these two. Yeah.
Why are those in there?
Yeah, we had this problem last week because they're there in like up higher level. I just need to. I'm just gonna get them out of here. New change list. Do not make it active. Who cares? I put a question mark in it. Okay, and then the unversioned. We want direction. We want. How about we look at this in one of these?
Is it plus?
There
I see the
is.
plus on the left. Up.
I was thinking there was a way to view this by directory hierarchy, but let's see here. Those guys. Let's see here. Direction. Oops. Move that up here. And level build, like these three. I've got, and then project 4. Okay, oh, Pac-Man. I think that's everybody.
Student.job? I thought we got rid of student.job.
We can commit it though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could commit it now. So just those two. Deleted 2, modified 0, 1. Okay, so get rid of student classes. Commit. Yeah, I should have. And then all those things. Get rid of student classes.
So how'd you commit just those changes and not the whole thing?
I just highlighted those two, and up here it gives you a little summary of like what's about to be selected.
Okay.
So I noticed that they weren't up there. And then this is like, oops. Got our first test to work. Commit push. 2 warnings. Yeah, we'll get probably unused variables and stuff. And then push back to master. Yay! Okay, I think it's time for a break. So let's catch up with the rest of the class, and then I'll let you go some more because I'm getting tired. Okay. Stop this recording, and we'll start up a new one.